Folks, today I'm going to talk to you about the most fundamental things. What are the more fundamental things that underlie the three universes that I was talking about in earlier videos? The world of humanity and the other universe that I was talking about, the world of lights, the three divine lights, white light and the golden light and the red light, and also the one underlying that, which is the eternal unknowns world universe, which is totally surrounded by the eternal darkness. So, what underlie all these three universes most at the most fundamental level? That's what I'm going to talk to you. And if you understand this clearly, you will understand what is this unknown God, the eternal unknown, and also what exactly are there and how, who is God and who you are, and what is called your family life in this world of humanity, why people are suffering, what are the ignorances about God and themselves, and so on, so on. So everything will be very clear in a very scientific angle, viewpoint. So please listen carefully. This might provide you with the breakthrough that you have been looking for throughout your life. Now, let's start with the world of humanity, the world that we as a human being are normally. Here, there is something called energy which is undefined. Nobody can define what is the energy. The most fundamental level, what is energy? Nobody can define. Scientists know that they cannot define energy. There is something called energy, but what we see, what we observe of this about this energy is our energy forms. Yeah. For example, when I use my eye and my five senses and the mind, the world appears as this. So I am the observer. I have some instrument called the mind plus the five senses. Those are the instruments, and when I use this instrument, something called energy appears to me as this world. For example, in put it in another way, suppose you have a beautiful wife or a husband or a child or whatever, and you are so fond of them. You see your wife, she looks so beautiful, and that is a form of that undefined energy when you look through your five senses plus your mind. And when instead of having the eyes, the normal eyes that people have, suppose from birth you have the electron microscope here or optical microscope here, and then when you look at your beautiful wife, you will see the cells and electrons and atoms and molecules, all of them circulating in her body. You will not see this beautiful form of your wife. You will see only the atoms and the molecules and cells. So when you embrace your wife saying, so you are so beautiful, honey, and so on, what at that time you are embracing are nothing but the atoms and molecules and cells, nothing but that. So there is something called energy which you can never see. You can see that energy only through some instrument. When you see through the instrument, there are certain forms. So there is the undefined thing called energy, and energy forms which appears with respect to the instrument through which you are observing that energy. Keep in mind that basically what is called energy is undefined. You can only view the energy forms, like your wife, based on her using the instrument you have. Okay. Now there is another thing called energy transformation. For example, when you heat water, the temperature increases and it gives out some energy. The energy, the heating energy is transferred from the heat from the gas to that water. Okay, so there is the temperature of that water changes. There is an energy transformation. For example, instead of that, think about the fan in your house. When you switch on the fan, the electrical energy is a kind of form, is a form, and that gets transformed into the motion, the motion of the motor. The air circulate, the air around is moving, and that cools your body, the room, and so on. So there is a transformation of energy from electrical energy to mechanical energy. So there is this called energy transformation. For example, if you take the sun, all that sun is doing, it is transforming. There is some transformation taking place in the sun, and that gives out the sunlight and so on. So there are, if you keenly understand, very clearly understand, you will find that there is something called energy undefined. There are energy forms with respect to the instruments through which you are watching that energy, and the energy transformation from one form to another form. That's all. That there is nothing but this in the whole universe. And when a scientist, for example, Albert Einstein, when he wrote that E is equal to mc square, all that equation is telling you is the behavior of various forms of this energy in this world of humanity, how they are get transformed, how why they appear the way that they appear, and so on, so on. So the equation is nothing but an accurate description in the mathematical language of the transformation or the forms of the energy, various forms of the energy, like called the speed of light, mass, and so on, so on. That's nothing but that. For example, if the atom bomb or nuclear bomb, as you all know, is nothing but the energy transformation from one form of energy, is energy transformation takes place to another form. So basically what is in this world is the undefined energy and various forms based on the instrument through which you are watching this, observing this energy and the energy transformation. Nothing, that's all there in this universe. At a very fundamental level. Now let us move to the second universe. So when you move from the world of humanity to the world of lights, the second universe, all that happens is the transformation of the instrument through which you are watching the same energy, you are observing the same energy. And normally in human beings, you are the feeling of something called you are tied in your mind to various thoughts. For example, you are a Hindu or a Christian or a Jew or a Buddhist, and you're born in this country and you have attachments, so many attachments, which are all tying the thing called you to pinning the thing called I so strongly that you can only move within certain in a certain direction. You can only think in certain direction, so on. For example, if you are a Hindu, you think the world as in one way, and if you live in India, you think one way. If you live in America, you think in another way, and so on. So all these thoughts, attachments of various thoughts are pinning you down to a specific way of looking at the world through your mind. That's what's happening in the mind. Now, suppose I mean, by the way, these all those attachments, spinnings, that I'm calling them as ignorances. Suppose you break all these things, which are tying you to this a specific way of looking at this world, and what happens? You are totally free. So when the thoughts are not there, and what happens is this, it is exactly at that time the seventh chakra opens, and and then at the time of opening the seventh chakra, what happens is that the instrument by which the observer observes this undefined thing called energy changes. The instrument changes. That's what happened to me. I was not looking through the mind and the five senses at that point of my first spiritual experiences. There is something else through which I'm observing this, and at that point I observed the three divine lights: the golden light, and the white light, and the red light. And just like a scientific a scientist conducts various experiments and observes various phenomena in this world, in that world I was observing through that instrument what was happening there. So those observations are my spiritual experiences that I have reported, and based on that observation, using that specific instrument, I was seeing the white light and the golden light, and also the red light. And according to that observation, I found that the consciousness, the human consciousness, in other words, the feeling of I inside you is created by that white light, presence of that white light, which is an energy form. And this life principle, the life inside the human body, not only in the human body, in everywhere in the world of humanity, whatever life is there, and the underlying energy form is that golden light. And the red light makes you to see this world of humanity as it is through its five senses and mind and so on and so forth. So basically, one of the most, or not one, two of the most, actually I should say three of the most important puzzles and questions of the scientist of this world of humanity asking are this: what is the basis of this consciousness in the human being? What is the basis, what is the underlying thing of this life in this human body, not only in the human body but also in the plant, animals, and so on? The third question the scientist here in the world of humanity is asking it: what is that appears as this world? What is the most fundamental level? What is it? And based on my observation of the second universe after opening my seventh chakra, what I found is the consciousness is created by that white form of energy. It's also a form, and a form of energy, and the life is the life in the human body as well as in other living things is created by, or that golden light underlies the body, which and gives the life the life property to the human body. And what appears to us the world is created by that red light. So basically, the reason why a scientist is unable to find out the basic answer the basic question, what is consciousness, what is life, what is the basis of all this, universe that we see is because they are living in this world of humanity, and for them they didn't transfer themselves to the world of lights. In other words, their instrument of observation is nothing but the instrument of five senses plus the mind plus various scientific instruments. They didn't go beyond that. When the seventh chakra opens, what happens is you get a new kind of instrument through which you are seeing this undefined thing called energy. At that point, the different energy forms appears to you, and one of the energy form is this white light, sea of white light, and another energy form is this the golden light, and a third energy form is that red light. And those three lights underlie the human world of humanity, as I have been just now describing. Now, then when you go from the second universe to the other universe, the most fundamental one, the world of eternal unknown or eternal divinity. I won't call that eternal divinity. I will call that eternal unknown. That's what I've been calling right from my spiritual first video in 2018, and also that's what I've been talking to my friends for the past 25-30 years or so. Now, what happens when you transfer from the second universe of three lights to the still more fundamental world of eternal unknown is that these three lights disappear. Just like this world of humanity disappeared when I moved to this second world of second universe, the world of lights, and there I had a different instrument, and using which when I saw those three energy forms were appearing, the three divine lights. And when you move from the second universe to the most fundamental universe of the eternal unknown, the instrument changes, and hence the three divine lights are not visible anymore. And what visible at that point in the third universe is eternal darkness, total darkness. There is me, there is this I feeling there existing, the same I feeling which was existing there was existing in the second universe, which is existing in this world of humanity. But these three, the same I has different instruments in the three universes. So in the universe of eternal unknown, the instrument is which is enabling the eye to see the eternal darkness all over. Right? It's still that eternal darkness is there. Now, what happens in the next moment is these two things come together. The observer of this eternal darkness unites with, or something happens which makes the whole thing disappear, the whole eternal darkness disappear. At that time, there is nothing. There is I shouldn't say nothing, because then I'm describing. There is nothing to be described because there is no observer, there is no eye there. There is no instrument to that eye, so it cannot see anything. And that is the most fundamental thing, and that is what is called undefined energy, which appears as the eternal darkness in the world of eternal unknown, and also which appears as the three divine lights in the world of the second universe, and which appears as this universe with the different forms like the sun, the wife, husband, the plant, and the animals, and so on, so on. So underlying all the three universes is this undefined thing called eternal unknown. And that is what is called, you can call that an energy, but that energy will give you some specific meaning. So I would like to call that is the eternally undefined thing. That can never be defined. And that undefinable thing is what is called unknown God, eternal unknown, indescribable. In the Hindu tradition, they say it's something indescribable, Parabrahman or Paramasivam or whatever it is, the unknown God. I won't call that as a God. It's an unknown thing, undefined thing. To put it most scientifically, it is called undefined thing. Undefined. That undefined appears to your instrument of five senses plus the mind as this world. The instrument with that eye, the eye with that instrument is what is called Shiva, the observer. And what the form, energy form that appears to that Shiva is what is called Shakti, the observed. This is what J. Krishnamurti used to use the word observer and the observed. And ultimately, in the world of eternal unknown, observed and the observer becomes one. They unite, and that is what is called eternal unknown. That is what is called the Paramashivam, Parashakti being together, the Shiva and Shakti being together. In Hindu tradition, that's what they describe. In other traditions, in other religions, it's called undefined, unknown God, or whatever it is. So when people write various scriptures, what they are trying to do, or when various prophets and divine incarnations, when they described what they found through various angels and so on, is nothing but a description of this unknown energy, an undefined thing, as appeared to them as a specific instrument. That's all it is. So, folks, that defines that defines what is the most fundamental thing in the world of humanity, as well as the world of lights, as well as the world of eternal unknown. So there is this undefined thing, and there is an instrument which is called observer, and there is a form which the observer sees or the instrument shows, and there is transformation from one form to another form. In all the three universes, these are all there. There is nothing else. So, folks, that's what I want to talk to you. And if you have any question, please let me know, and I'll try to clarify them. Thank you.